Okay. So as we usually start, just kind of setting ourselves up with familiarity, finding your steady and sweet seat, letting the spine grow long. This is a house kitty. It was one of our kids' kitties that her brother couldn't have anymore. And so he has wormed our way into our cottage. So he will be our guest cat for our practice today. Once you feel nice and long through your spine, open and relax through the shoulders and strong and steady through your core, we'll come right into the breath. 3 nice big sighs. Let that soften, shoulders get a little more quiet. Breathing in through the nose, releasing that breath through a small space in the mouth. Maybe letting the head shake gently no as you dip your chin towards your collarbone. Hopefully by the end of that 3rd or 4th breath, your exhale feels longer than your inhale. And then moving right into that diaphragmatic breath. Remember, as you bring the breath in, it's almost filling you up compartmentally. So you might kind of hold your tummy at the beginning to let the lungs fill up, and then relax the tummy as the breath gets lower, and then let the tummy fill up, and then relax the pelvic floor and let the pelvic floor fill up. And then engage the pelvic floor, pressing the breath up, engaging the core, continuing to press the breath up, feeling that come right up to that xiphoid process as you expend the last of your exhale. That just feels like too much work. Just fill and engage, but you might compartmentalize as you do this next breath. And then working our way right into bee's breath. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Bringing your palms down into lotus breath. And essentially we're taking 3 ohms together, but we're doing it more like a bee. So you can dip your nose into that nectar and make that om buzzing sound with the mouth staying closed. Breathe in. As you breathe in, sweep your arms up. We're going to come right up to our feet so we can go to the wall. So rock over onto hands and knees. You might do a little cat-cow just to give the spine some length as you prep to stand. And if your feet are on top of your prop like mine are, just use your toes to push it out of the way and bring your toes to your mat. Hands walk forward. Just come right up into down dog. Let it be pretty relaxed. And then setting your gaze towards your hands, stepping your feet a little more forward, fingertips towards feet. Let's go halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, right into chair. And we'll just go ahead and do that little movement that, I don't know if you guys are fond of it, but I'm sure fond of it. So as you exhale, tuck your pelvis, coming into a longer, straighter spine. As you inhale, rise straight up. And as you exhale, side bend, remembering you're pressing into the heel of the long side of your body. Inhale up through center. Exhale at side bend to the second side, pressing into the opposite heel. We're going to do this 3 more times in total. So as you inhale, come to center. And as you exhale, sit down into chair. Take that curve out of your back by tucking your tail a little bit, and then let your body press up, keeping that subtle tuck of your tailbone. When your exhale begins, side bend, really digging into the strength of the exhale and the pressure of the heel. Inhaling to center, exhaling to your second side. Inhaling through center. As you exhale, come down into chair and tuck your tailbone. So as you inhale, you can come straight up. And I do mean straight up. Your body is not borrowing. It's really even from front to back. And when you're at center, even from side to side. And we'll just go through this one more time. Exhaling into chair. Once you get there, keep exhaling. Tuck the tailbone. Inhale straight up. Straight up into straight. Exhale to the side. Inhale to the center. Exhaling to the side, giving a little more oomph to the heel. And this time just come straight up. Let's just go right into monkey drum. Open your feet and fling your arms around. Make sure those knees get big and juicy every time you get to the center. Feel that nice long spiraling up rotation as you swing around your body. And slowing your momentum down. Okay, so for this movement, some of you have done this before, but it's probably been a hot minute. So going to your wall, wherever that may be, I'm going to pretend like there's a wall right here behind me. You're going to place your palm on the wall, and you're going to be far enough away from the wall that you can have a tiny bit of a bend, just a tiny bit of a bend in your elbow. And I want your fingers to be pointing straight up at the ceiling. So you're just palm on the wall, fingers are pointing up, your elbow's not locked, there's a little bit of a bend in your elbow. And then just really slowly pressing your shoulders down, start to turn your toes so that your body is turning away from the wall. So you can just kind of take a little tiny step with both feet, pause. Keep pressing the palm gently into the wall, and then maybe move your feet just a little bit again. Still pressing the palms into the wall, fingertips are still pointing up. And if this is the full rotation that you've got, stay right here and simply take nice full breaths. If you think you've got another rotation in you, let the toes guide. If you got too far, if you can't see me, all that's happening is my arm is fully extended, pressed against it. Mine is an imaginary wall, and you're just turning your body like this. Yeah. Yeah. So perfect. So Denise, you're just going to slowly turn and face a little bit more towards the screen that you're looking at while you keep your hand on the wall. So you're rotating away from the wall. Perfect. Last breath there. And then with that hand still on the wall, just turn your body so that now you're facing the wall and place both hands on your wall, and you're going to get closer to your wall. So your elbows are now going to be bent. Perfect. Okay, so with your elbows bent, you're a little bit closer to the wall. The hand that wasn't on the wall, keep it exactly where it is, with the fingertips pointing up, palm against the wall. The hand that was on the wall in the first place, turn your fingers in that direction and slide your arm out against the wall so your arm is straight. So for most of you, I think that was your left hand. But if it wasn't your left hand, don't worry about that. So I think Jerry and Denise, it was your left. So you're going to slide your left arm all the way out. So basically it's a T. And you can turn and look at me if you want to, if that'll help. So this hand that wasn't on the wall is pressed on the wall. This hand that was on the wall turns and slides. So it's shoulder height. Turns and slides, so it's shoulder height, like a T. Perfect. Okay, so once you've got one arm long and one hand pressed against the wall, the hand that's pressed against the wall and the elbows bent, that's the direction you're going to turn your body in, and you're just going to slowly turn your body. The arm that's long, you're opening that pectoralis minor spot, more. Yep, you got it. Karen, you got it. Good. Denise, maybe look over your left shoulder and then turn left. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. And again, just taking a breath. And then you're going to let that go. Step away from the wall. Do a few rounds of monkey drum. Good. Okay, so this time I'm just going to pretend like there's an invisible glass wall in front of me. You're going to come back to your wall and you're going to place your opposite hand because we're going to go through both things again. So whichever hand you had on the wall first, use your other hand now. Remember, your fingertips are pointing straight up. Your arm is long but not locked, so there's a micro bend in your elbow. And then you're going to slowly turn your toes and turn your toes away from the wall. And when you start feeling that stretch, you're going to fill it up the belly of your forearm. You might fill it up into the top of your arm. You hopefully will end up feeling it in your pectoralis minor. But when you feel enough of the stretch, palm pressing against the wall, fingertips up, body turning away from the wall, just pause and give your body a breath. And then you'll walk your toes back until you're facing the wall. And then both hands come to the wall and then take a step closer to the wall so that your elbows have to bend. So the hand that wasn't on the wall, it's going to stay right where it is. It's your anchor, it's your force, it's your pusher. The hand that was on the wall, turn your fingers and send your arm out so it's shoulder level at T. So your arm is kind of pressed against the wall. Good. The hand that's just bent, the elbow that's bent, that's your pusher. So as you're going to push that hand into the wall, as you turn your toes, so the arm that's long is hopefully getting a little bit more pressure into the wall or feeling more of a stretch. And the hand that's against the wall, it's kind of like thread the needle. You know, when you press your hand into the mat to get your arm under your body, which is the opposite of what we're doing. But that same pressure that's holding the space for your chest, that's what that hand is doing. Last breath. And then you're just going to release it, step away from your wall, and monkey drum it out. Good. Now we're just going to come into a few rounds of standing robin's breath. So a little less complicated than wall work. So come on back to your mat. Inhale and reach your arms up. And as you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Pause right here and breathe in, feel the fullness of your spine. And as you exhale, bend your knees, reach your arms forward, start to round your back as you dive down towards your mat. As you inhale, I like to get a little bit lower in my bum so that I can lift my gaze and come up, opening the arms. It helps me get less dizzy than just trying to come straight up. As you exhale again, bend your knees, round your spine and come down. And as you inhale again, you might drop your bum first and then lift your gaze and come right back up to standing, hands heart center. Exhale, reach and round, working your way down to a bent knee forward fold. Inhale, slide back up to standing, open your arms wide like you're embracing the sky. Exhale, bend your knees, come down, almost like you're getting ready to plant a little seed or check the ground here, and then come right back to heart center. Let's do Robin's breath 2 more times through. You're diving down, knees are deeply bent. As you inhale, you're rising up. You're really opening the heart and the throat and the gaze. Diving back down, coming back to earth. And anchoring at center one last time through. Working with the breath, exhaling down. Inhaling up into the sky. Exhaling back down. And inhaling to center. Good. Last round of robins, or not robin's breath, of monkey drum. And then we'll get ready to come back down to our mats. Good. Okay, so as we get ready to come back down, this is where you're going to need your prop. So whether you have a bolster, whether you have a roller, whether you have a cushion, we're essentially going to come into the restorative variation of fish. So we want our spine supported, but we're gonna have our bums on the ground. So whatever your prop is, lay it down on your mat. And as you come down to your mat, you're going to sit on your mat in front of your prop. Okay, so once you are in front of your prop, bend your knees and place the soles of your feet on your mat. You're going to leave your legs in this position, okay? And then you can just kind of hang on to your prop. You're going to work your body down. And for this movement, it's really your preference. I prefer having my head and my spine on my prop, but some people like a little bit of their head to come off. So if you've got a short enough prop for that, you can definitely take that variation. I feel like it puts too much pressure on my throat and my neck, so I prefer all of my spine and my head to be supported. If you don't like that, without being at an angle, you could prop your prop up, or you could put a little pillow on top for your head. So just take another moment, making sure that whatever prop is under your spine, it's under your spine in a way that you like. You feel like if you wanted to move your head, you could. You wanted to adjust your pelvis, you could. You wanted to relax your arms, you could. And then from this space, once you have kind of gotten in there, see if you can open your arms to either somewhere in between an actual cactus arms with the elbows bent, or T, or preferably somewhere right in between those two. But wherever you are in between cactus and T, make sure that the palms of your hands are facing up towards the sky. So the backs of your hands are on your mat or the ground, and the palms of your hands are facing up to the sky, and you're in some version of cactus or V or T. And then in this space for a moment, we're just going to let the body kind of hold this space. And I'm going to read a little bit from Maya's book. And what is optional in this moment is if you would rather have your knees touching and open your feet out, or have the soles of your feet touching and let your knees open, or if you'd like to cross your legs like you would in Sukhasana, those are all nice variations where the knees stay bent while your back is supported by your prop. So you might just kind of play with that. So as we're in this time of kind of seeing spring on the horizon, Maya invites us to a seasonal practice called planting seeds of intention. She says that you can plant our own seeds to embody the metaphor of rooting winter's dreams into the reality of soil. We can use this ritual to decide what we want to give birth to in the season to come. It's a ritual about stepping into the energy of transformation, like taking a stale situation and giving it new life. There may be a space in your life, like a family relationship or a friendship, a place in your home, aspects of your work life, your creative life, or something around your spiritual life. You might take that intention into meditation and develop it more. You might take it into a journaling practice to kind of flesh it out. What would it look like if this space was renewed and reborn? And so the invitation is for each place in your life that needs refreshing, plant a seed. You could take any type of carton, like a small pot, an egg carton, something that you've recycled or upcycled, get a little potting soil, and then get some seeds that maybe you also want to be able to harvest this year. And find a sunny windowsill, and you can label them. It might be the herb thyme and the intention to make more time for yourself or for somebody else. And you're gonna plant that little seed, stick it in the window, label it, care for it. And as the seed starts to grow and sprout, it'll also encourage you to let your personal intention grow and sprout and flourish. Okay, so I want you to stay where you are, but if you moved your knees, I want you to bring your legs back to even, to where your heels are in line with your sits bones, your knees are bent and pointing straight up towards the sky. Take your hands, place them on your hips, and then kind of dig your fingers into that space where the thigh meets your pelvis. And you're going to probably be able to feel your pelvic bone. You want to go to the inside of those bumps. So if you're right on the bone, just drift your fingers closer to center so they just kind of slide down the bone and then they end up in muscle. I want you to relax as you inhale. Try not to engage very much muscle and let your right knee just kind of fall towards the right. Notice what you feel under your fingertips. Notice any movement in your shoulders or your torso or your opposite hip. And then bring that knee back to center. Stay relaxed, stay really loose in your body. And then do the same thing to the left. Let your left knee just kind of fall open. Notice maybe the lack of what you're feeling under your fingertips, but the movement in your body. So you might do that again, just kind of lazily letting the legs kind of lock to one side. And then as you come back to center this next time, when you exhale, exhale with energy. So engage your pelvic floor. It's almost like you're pulling the pelvic floor towards center and up into your body a little bit. And then hold that energy. And now let your right knee open and come back to center. And now let your left knee open and come back to center. You can relax and then engage again and do it one more time. Nice full breath. And then from here, just work your body up to your seat. When you get to your seat, it's kind of our point to be able to get rid of our prop. So just take whatever prop you brought to your mat and move it out of your way. And we're going to come right into a seated version of Robin's breath. And since we already know how it goes, I'm going to let us all just kind of start together and then keep moving. So remember, the exhale brings you forward and down. The inhale opens you up. The exhale brings you forward and down. And the inhale brings you back to center. So as you keep going with that breath, we talked last week about when we're worried we're going to slip, or when we're worried we're going to fall, or any of those types of things, being able to really harness in that upward lifting energy to take some of the weight out of our lower body and to give us more control over that movement that might be slipping or has the potential to slip. And what you just felt underneath your fingertips and that energy that you felt between being engaged and not being engaged when you let a knee open That's the energy that we're talking about. And it's really, really hard to open your heart emotionally, physically, and spiritually if you are grounded somewhere really, really stable. And so tapping into that first chakra and second chakra area where you feel grounded, safe, and secure, and the ability to be curious and creative gives us that stabilizing strength to start to bloom through the heart space. So finish up this last round of Robin's breath. And when your hands get back to heart center, bring your body back down onto your mat with no prop underneath you. Start as we usually do with your knees bent. Your feet are off your mat. You're hugging your knees into you. You're rocking around. It's playful. It's soothing. And then let the rocking come to still, but keep your feet off of your mat with your knees bent. So with the knees bent, the feet off the mat, place your hands on your knees, and we'll take a few rounds of that more intentional variation of Apanasana. So as you inhale, let the hands help you glide the knees towards the body so that your thighs and your tummy kind of press into each other. As you exhale, lift your head and shoulders, tuck your chin towards your collarbone and bring your heart closer to your knees. As you work your way back down, roll the shoulders down your back and lift your chin away from your collarbone. So as you place down, your shoulders are pressing into your mat. Heart is really open at the front and your throat feels really long. When you start to exhale, hands are on your knees. You're going to press your knees out so that they're over your pelvis. Your arms are long. And I want you to stay very engaged with your core. So see if you can kind of press your ribs down. And maybe even press a little bit of your lumbar spine down. And then we'll work more at the pace of our breath. So as you inhale, pull the knees to you. As you exhale, curl up towards your knees. As you inhale, lay strong and flat and open on your mat. And as you exhale, press the knees out over your hips. Let it resist a little bit, but remember to press into your mat as well. There's a lot of pressing in this exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, relax the thighs to you. Curl up as you exhale. Press back down into your mat as you inhale. And a really slow exhale so you get lots of resistance between the thighs and the hands, between the back of your body and your mat. And then just relax. Bring your hands just to your left knee. Send your right leg out. And we'll do the Pavanamuktasana. So again, just inhale, thigh to tummy. Exhale, curl up, heart towards knee. Curl back down, connecting with your mat. And softening the hold on your knee. 2 more times. Good, and then let your left knee open to your left, holding it. And then cross it through center, take it over to your right. Relax your right knee as you do so, coming into a twist. And then when you come back to center, we'll bring this left leg into cradle. So you might use your right leg to bend the knee, to support the ankle. And then you might lift your right foot off your mat to bring your shin closer to your body. So you can reach your hands out, grab onto the shin like you're taking a baby. And then whatever you want to do with that right leg, maybe the foot comes down and the knee stays bent. Maybe it stretches all the way back out. Whatever feels right, take that option. And then just come into that nice upside down pigeon movement with your left leg. You might be moving it from side to side. But whatever you're doing with the leg, your shoulders are very much wide. They're very much connected to your mat. So you're not curling them up to hold your leg. You're pressing them into your mat, and that's getting the leg closer to your body, giving you more space to move. And then releasing the foot, hug both knees into you, and then switch sides. Bring your hands over to your right knee. Send your left leg long on your mat. 3 rounds of Pavana Muktasana. Inhale, thigh to tummy. Exhale, curl up. Curl down. And soften the hold on your knee. 2 more. As you finish up that round of Pavana Muktasana, let your right knee just open to the right, supporting it with your hand. And then bring it through center, relaxing the left knees. You take the right leg across your body for a twist. And then as you come back to center, getting ready to cradle your right leg. So maybe bending the left knee to support the right ankle, and then maybe lifting the left foot off your mat to kind of bring that shin to you, reaching out with your hands right here. Keep your shoulders on your mat, and then step your left foot down and either leave it there or extend it back out. With your shoulders on your mat, nice and wide, you can move into that rocking motion with your leg. And then releasing your foot, bend both knees, bring your feet off your mat. So your knees are bent. Go ahead and just let your heels dangle in front of your hamstrings and bring your arms down by your side. Coming into a really familiar movement. As you inhale, extend your legs so that the soles of your feet are looking up at the sky. Also reach your hands up. Please remember that it's like you're holding a box. Your fingertips are pointing straight up at the ceiling, but your shoulders are firmly, firmly, firmly connected to your mat. Now as you exhale, bend your knees, let your heels dangle in front of your hamstrings, and lower your palms of your hands to your mat. So inhale, reaching up to the sky, and exhale, bending your knees and planting your palms. You can continue moving this way, or you might take an arm variation, where instead of the arms moving straight up and down, you instead interlace your hands above your head, and as your heels go up to the sky, you reach your arms away from the crown of your head, and then as you bend your knees, you also bend your elbows, bringing the palms of your hands close to the crown of your head. So you might just change it up a little bit today, taking a slightly different variation. This variation really encourages a little more side body length. And whichever variation you're doing, take 2 more. And as your heels reach up for the sky, this next time, leave them there. Now you can bring your hands to your body, and we're going to do something a little bit different. So normally right here, we simply open our legs to V with resistance and bring our legs back to center with resistance. Instead, today, I want you to point your toes to each other with your heels facing out, and then open your legs to V, letting the heels lead the way, and then turn your feet so that the heels are looking towards each other, and bring your legs back to each other, letting the heels lead the way. And then you're going to turn the heels out. So even though this pose is new, this movement's not new. We usually do this movement when we're on our sides, where we lift and lower the leg, following the movement of the heels. You guys look really great right now. So we're just doing both legs simultaneously, while they're up in the air. So you might feel a little bit of tenderness or grumpiness at your low back. And if you're feeling that, engage your core a little bit more, engage your pelvic floor. Last two. Kind of feels like we're swimming, yeah? Bring your heels back into each other, bend your knees, hug your knees towards you, maybe rock around a little bit, easing some of that crankiness in your lumbar spine. And then when you're ready, work your way back up into your seat. So hopefully your seat feels incredibly stable right now. That was the goal. And we'll come into our therapeutic seated twist. So again, make sure that it feels like your tailbone is like 2 centimeters tucked under to get that nice full length of your lumbar spine. Breathe in. And as you exhale, bring your right hand to your left knee. Bring your left fingertips behind you. First, start by rolling your shoulders down and back to really activate the openness of heart center. And then look over your shoulder, lift your head a little bit. And as you kind of lift up, you feel like you're spiraling up, let your knees press down. So again, lots of tug and pull to get things to open a little bit more. Keep your body in this position and turn just your head to look over your right shoulder. And then rotate your head so that your ear is hovering over your right shoulder. And then unrotate your head, just looking over your right shoulder. And then turn your head looking over your back shoulder and use your arms for just a little more leverage, get a little more rotation through your waistline. And then release back to center. When you get back to center, send your palms behind you, reach your feet out in front of you, point your toes, roll your shoulders, press through your palms to bloom your heart again up towards that sunshine that is shining above your ceiling. Even if it's masked in fog, it's up there. Relax your elbows. Bring your body back to Sukhasana, and we'll do that twist to our second side. Remember, you're probably just a little bit swooped in your spine, so just pretend like you're kind of doing that tiny 2 centimeter tuck to engage through the core and get a little more stable length. Breathe in. As you exhale, left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. Start by the shoulders rolling down and back. That'll get you a little more length in your spine. And then a really casual look over your shoulder. Just pausing here gently the first time. Feel the knees reach towards the ground as the crown reaches for the sky. And then turn only your head to look over your front shoulder. Rotate your head, getting the ear closer to the shoulder. Unrotate your head, looking over your front shoulder. And then look over your back shoulder. Use your arms for a little more leverage. Get more rotation through your waist. And release, coming right back to center. So we are going to skip that one. Let's move all the way up, forward, and over onto our hands and our knees. And we'll do our movement called Thunderbolt right here. So once you're on hands and knees, hands are wide, you're going to press back like you're coming into child's pose with your knees together. So keep the knees together, send your sit bones close to your heels, engage your core so that you can release your hands and not fall on your face, so that your hands are right behind, like they're shooting out behind you. And as you inhale, rise up to standing on the knees, and you can either bring your arms straight out or overhead. And as you exhale, come down to hover above your thighs, sending your fingertips out behind you. Inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. And now we're gonna let this come into cactus arms. So you're gonna inhale up. And if you are bringing your arms all the way up, you're gonna keep inhaling as you just bring the arms into cactus and then come down. If you are going with your arms straight out in front of you, then you'll just bend and open and then come down. So however you're getting there. Last two. And this next time that you rise up into Thunderbolt, stay up on your knees. And this time we'll bring our left foot forward. So from where you are, you might lean down to support your body with a hand, but you're just gonna step the left foot forward. Starting in those nice strong lines, everything's at a 90-degree angle. And then once you feel stable, strong, and sturdy, move your left foot forward. So you just kind of inchworm it forward a little bit, and then you'll start to kind of lean into it and pull back. And we'll bring the arm with us. So it's your left foot that's forward. So let's bring our right arm up as we come forward. Good. And then if you're enjoying this movement and want to add in one more layer, you'll come forward into Anjaneyasana. And when you go back, you might lift your toes and let your torso reach towards the leg, coming into more of a heron variation. And then bend your knee, bring the sole of the foot down, and drift your body forward. But that's just an option. You can just go front to back, or you might layer in that heron variation. Let's take 2 more times on this side. Good, and then you'll bring the knee back. Between sides, let's take 3 breaths in child's pose. Reach your arms up, come all the way down. You might let the hands stand behind you or in front of you or support your head. And lifting your head, sending your arms behind you, coming up just like we did in Thunderbolt. And then this time, sending your right foot forward. Again, if you want to support your body on the left side and then come up, that's a really great way to move there. And you're going to start with those really stable 90-degree angles. Knees are bent, everything feels strong, secure, stable. And then you'll scoot your toes forward. Find that right lean. First couple of times you can do it without the arm. Just make sure that you've chosen the right amount of distance from your foot away from your body. And then once that feels nice and fluid, bring the arm into the movement. And your arm does not have to stay straight up and down. You can bring it behind your body if it's got a little bit more of that mobility. And then just like the first side, if you'd like to add in the heron variation, you come into Anjaneyasana. And as you work your way back, you let the toes lift and you hinge your long spine forward. And then you bend the knee, bring the toes down and lean back in. Again, it's just an option. Wherever you are, we're taking 2 more. And we're gonna work our way back up to standing. So you can kind of pull that foot back, the knee is bent. You can bring your hands down to either side of the foot or to the inside of the foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, step your back foot to your front foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chair. We're gonna take the side bend to each side one time. Tuck the tail a little bit. Inhale, straight up. Exhale, side bend. Press into the long heel. Inhale to the center. Exhale, side bend. Press into the heel. And inhale, center. Bringing your hands down. Extend out through your left palm like it's pushing down on a table. And then lower your right ear towards your right shoulder. Keep both shoulders pressing down. Keep both knees springy, not locked. Keep the tailbone just subtly tucked and the core awake. Drag your chin down. Slide it back to where the ear is hovering above the shoulder, and maybe place your hand just on your head, giving it a little more stretch. Relax your jaw. And then release. Roll through your hands. And take that movement to the second side, extending out through your right hand. Make sure everything stayed where you put it for the first time around. And then lower your ear towards your shoulder. Shoulders press down. And then glide the chin down. And moving the chin forward. Just very gently resting your hand on your head. And releasing your hand. Bring your hands to your hips. And depending on where you are on your mat, we're coming into a warrior one stance with our right foot forward. So if you're kind of back on your mat, you're going to step your right foot forward. If you're front on your mat, you're going to step your left foot back. So remember, in warrior one, your back leg is long, your back foot subtly turned, and your front knee is bent. Okay. Hips are squared, shoulders are squared. And then from right here, bring your arms up and see if you can kind of adjust. See if you can get a little more length from your lumbar spine, a little more solidness through your ribs. And then bend your elbows and pull them down into cactus. For this warrior, you're going to extend your front leg. You're gonna take the bend out of it. So lengthen your front leg and then press your hands back. So you're gonna take the bend out, point your fingers to the ground, and then push back behind you as far as your mobility will let you. And then you're gonna bring your arms back through, bend your elbows, and as your elbows come back to cactus, bend back into your front knee. So that's our rhythm. As the arms get long, the leg gets long, push to the back. And then you bend your knee and that brings your arms back into cactus. 3 more of those. Long leg, pushing the hands behind you. Bend your knee, coming into cactus. Long leg, pushing behind you. And as you bend your knee and come into cactus, stay right here. Now, as you exhale, keep your knee bent, push. And as you inhale, keep your knee bent, pull. As you exhale, push. As you inhale, pull. Good. Last one, push. And pull. Hands to your hips, lean forward as you lift off your back heel, step your back foot to your front foot. Do a couple of monkey drums in between sides. And then working into your warrior one base on the second side. Left foot is forward this time. Right foot is back. Front knee is bent. Back leg is long with the toes slightly turned. Squaring up your hips and your head. And as you reach your arms up, squaring up your shoulders, making any micro adjustments for the spine or the pelvis, and then pulling your arms down into cactus. As we breathe in, you're going to lengthen the leg and the arms and push the arms back. As you breathe out, you're going to bend your knee and bring your arms back to cactus. Inhale long and press behind you. Exhale, bend and come into cactus. Long and bend and long. This time as you bend your knee, leave your knee bent. As your hands come back into cactus, you're going to exhale and push in front of you. And as you inhale, pull. And as you exhale, push. And as you inhale, pull. One more push. And pull. Good. Release your hands, lean forward, come off your back heel, step your feet together. Now right here in Tadasana, bring your hands together and very lightly begin to rub them. And if something kind of pops for you about those seeds of intention, like, oh, this is an area in my life I would like to see grow this spring, to maybe give a little new life to it, to do something new with it, or maybe something that you haven't done before. If those little seeds popped for you, think about those right now. Think about the energy that those little seeds are going to need in order to grow. Attention and sunshine and water and nutrition. And think about creating that energy within yourself and bringing it to life to share with something else. Feel that warmth between your hands. And then maybe just start to create a little tiny gap between your palms and imagine that energy and that warmth being able to grow even if your hands are no longer touching. So slowly separate your hands, feeling a little buzz of energy, feeling a ball of something wonderful in between your hands, growing as you create a little more space between your palms. And then place one of those palms on heart center and the other palm on belly. Breathe in. Think of all of that energy within us, all of that energy around us. And think of harnessing and befriending that energy to do something positive, to grow something new, to infuse something with new light. And then from here, coming right into our standing back bend, reach your arms up. Make sure that you feel nice and long in your spine, very engaged with the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor, but really fluid and kind of loose in the front of your hips and in the back of your back. Send your gaze up and allow a little bit of an arch to happen, like your heart wants to look up at the sky. Your pelvis is going to come a little bit softly forward as you do this. So stay rooted in the heels of your feet. And then bring your spine to neutral. Bring your hands to heart center. Start to bend your knees to come down to forward fold. Bring your hands to your mat as your heels lift. Walk your shins forward. And we're just going to end in Sukhasana. So cross your ankles, roll to your seat. So from this place of your seat, you might roll the shoulders and just kind of notice, do you feel like you've got more width from one shoulder to the next? Do you feel a little more open in this heart-centered space? Like you can see, like the shoulders are no longer blocking your heart's periphery vision, right? I can see a little more authentically. So in addition to planting the seeds of intention, another seasonal exercise that Maya invites us to is to tend the flame. We need the heat of that energy, that little flame of tapas in our belly to really keep us on our track, to stay motivated to our intention. And one of the things that she relates this to is an ancient Celtic goddess named Greed, who was a healer, a poet, a metalsmith. She was a protector of children and livestock and sacred wells. And she was an artisan with crafting the earth element. She took care of those things around the earth element. Her spark of creation really was something that people admired and kind of held her in that light of being able to create. And it says that Saint Breed knew that the spark of creation was not enough. One must blow on the life spark ever so gently to build it towards summer's fire. And so Saint Breed priestesses tended the flame, keeping the temple of their convent an eternal fire that was never allowed to die. And so Maya invites us to see if we can keep a candle lit for, she says a week, but I'm like, can we even keep a candle lit for a day? Let's start with a day. To place the candle in a lantern or another fireside container and light it. When that candle runs low, swapping it out for a new candle, passing the flame from one candle to the other candle, and then placing it back down. And the question that we'll end with as we just take a moment in our seat is, what type of attention and devotion does it take to tend a fire in this way? And I love that she combined attention and devotion. So our little seeds need that as well. In real life, to grow a plant, and in our personal real life, to grow something new. We need attention and devotion. So you might take one more chance to place your hands on your body. The attention of the fire of our belly, the devotion of our heart center. And think about waking these areas up, taking what we might have dreamed with in our rest of winter to bring forward into the light of spring. Gently drawing the hands away from the body, and as you inhale, reaching your arms up. And as you exhale, wrapping yourself up in a loving embrace. Inhale, reaching your arms up. And exhale, hands to heart center. That inner flame in me sees and honors that inner flame in each and every one of you. Namaste.